Hello, and welcome to the MineTrek.net game server. Currently just chilling out over by the Klingon D7. I've been working on it as I have time. Kind of a pet project. So, it's been kind of a interesting last couple of weeks. M. Heller's been working on the server quite a bit. And as you can see from my mini-map, some things are not like the others. It's actually glowstone. But yeah, he's been cleaning up the server, getting it ready for 181. Hopefully, eventually, one day soon, the server will be 181, and which means we'll have more blocks and lots of more options for interior details as well as exterior details. Anywho, I think it was DeBomb did some of the exterior work on this gal here. And what I'm doing is I'm just kind of working through the interior. Those are disruptor banks. This ship is, I'd say, a third larger than the SD plans call for. So it is a lot larger. And the SD plans, although I'm using them, they really don't work well with this ship. But I am using them where I can. It's a nice looking ship. I've always loved the styling of the ship since the motion picture. Yeah, it was okay in the TV series, but I was like 11 years old when the motion picture came out, and that scene where you see them pan across these things as they move on to V'ger in the opening scenes of the movie sticks with you. These are iconic Star Trek ships. You know, like the Enterprise TOS and this. You just, when you see these, you know Klingon. You know, they're just beautiful looking ships. But because of the design, there's not a lot of space available to them. And, you know, the plans don't call for it, but now it has 4 escape pods. This whole area here is listed as machinery. But I'm going to use this area here instead for the machinery and turn these into escape pods. I've got 3 extra decks that I can fill up now with stuff, so it will have dual wide turbo lift access points. So let's go ahead. In order to get around the bubble, which is what I'm calling the cone of the ship here, the turbo lift has to kind of move around a little bit. But this is the top part of the ship. This is where the sensor dome is, and come down one, and this is the main bridge. Well, this is the upper part of the main bridge. This is the, I guess you'd call it the war room or whatever, but there'd be a couple of consoles over here, but the captain would basically be sitting right here looking forward. Now the SD plans call for the lift to be right here. I couldn't fit it in there. I mean I could, but it just didn't make any sense because the first thing they're going to hit is the front of the ship, and there goes the turbo lift. Klingons aren't stupid. You know, their design would be simply have the turbo lift to the back where it's out of the way. Then again, you know, we may end up moving it forward. I don't know. The nice thing about this is this hull's been saved, so if these plans don't work out, we can try a different set of plans. You know, more specifically the SD plans, but they're nice plans. But you know, there's some of them that I don't know, they just don't work with this hull as well. It's the same kind of problem I ran into with the Enterprise A and the Voyager. We ended up with extra, you know, entire decks. With the Voyager, I think it was like 2 extra decks. With the Enterprise A, I think it was 1. On this one, I'm pretty sure it's 4 or 5 total decks. So, yeah, it is what it is. You do what you can. But anyways, this is the main bridge. And this is the, well, I guess this would be technically deck 2. And this would be the captain's main deck here. You know, you have some bridge life supports and some other stuff. Like a bridge, this here would be like a lounge area. This would be the commander's conference room, and then the captain's bridge. And these, of course, are Jeffrey's tube access points. And they feed down then all the way back to the back of the ship like normal. One of the few things I do when I first lay them out. And then we have this deck here, which is the actual, it's a rip from the SD plans, except that it doesn't have the exterior, because this is actually lower along the sensor, I guess the perimeter of the sensor buoy thing along the side there, but I couldn't put that deck where it is on the SD plan, so I put it up here, and I just made it a little bit bigger. But this is the VIP brig. This would be the Armory Officer's Office, the Officer's Armory, and then of course, you know, secure storage, and then a vault, because Klingons like to put stuff in vaults. And then of course, you know, force field generators and other things that can go through here, you know, because I mean, obviously you need force field generators. This is where the turbolift actually will go back one, and then we're onto this deck. This is another copy of the SD plans, but slightly modified. This is the computer core, pretty big. I'm not really sure what these are. I recall reading about them, but it was, I left room for them and a lot of the machinery space for it to be fitted in, because they're multi-deck. Of course, this is the next deck down, which is the disruptor, main forward disruptor bay. And again, this is another rip from the SD plans with slightly changed. This will be a Jeffries tube. Derp, can't remember the name of it. Jeffries tube. I might slate it, change it a little bit, move these out one, so that it's 2 through here instead of 1. That way, you know, it's a little bit more consistent with other builds, because it gets a little narrow through here, so I might move them up that way one. Again, these are like crew quarters. And the Klingon ships, they have multiple function crew quarters, so 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, 4 bed. This would be like a bathroom. This would be like the little, you know, warrior get-together room. Emergency storage. This will be another armory, another little vault. You never know when, you know, Klingons want to store their stuff, you know, their war trophies. Crew quarters, crew quarters. This, I'm not sure. I think this is waste management. Yep. This is waste. Again, this is off the plant itself. And then this one here is atmospheric. And then, of course, we have the escape pods where we came in at. Jeffries tubes, since they work their way around to the back here. All of this is power routing. So the whole saucer, the whole egg, or whatever you want to call this front part, is now powered. It has power to every deck and to all major systems. And we drop down one more deck here. This is a slight deviant from the deck plans. This is actually a cross between SD plans and my own design. I haven't labeled these yet, but these will probably mainly be ship systems, stabilizers, and things like that. I have, of course, this is like crew quarters right here. I think this would be like a VIP quarters or the first officer's quarters, or I might have those on a different deck. I don't know yet. Anywho, it's still a work in progress. Comes back here again, ship systems, power routes. Yeah, Klingons love their power routes. And we'll come down to this deck, and again, it has to shift sideways at this point because below us is the main deck that runs through the neck. So I could put the turbo lift right down the center. But I wanted to stick with the SD plans. So the SD plans call for a main deck going down the center, and there is no turbo lift, but the neck was just wide enough that I could fit a turbo lift and a very small Jeffries tube down both sides, along with a 2 wide corridor or 4 wide corridor, however you want to call it. Anywho, deck 7. Excuse me. These are quarters again, and other storage areas. This is, I think, a crew mess. Yeah, crew lounge and crew mess area. So this would probably be part of the forward sensor array dome, or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I mean, this is going to be a crew lounge. Oh, these are crew lounges, so these are not messes. This is where the crew kick it. You know, it's where they have their little Klingon get-togethers, whatever. More system rooms for things. Again, this will be another big system room here. So this deck will probably be basically ship subsystems and things like that, with a couple of crew quarters and I don't know what I'll make these yet. I don't know if they'll be crew quarters, because actually they don't look like crew quarters. You got a room here, you got a room here, a room there, a room there. It looks more like a set of lungs. We'll figure it out. I don't know why I want that pattern. I guess that's the way it was in the SD plans, because it has all those nice angles and stuff. But with Minecraft, it's hard to do angles and make them look good, especially with the limited block patterns that we have, which I'll show you the pattern I'm using for the interior spaces here in just a second. Alright, now this is the main deck. This I think is deck 8. Let's see up here real quick. Yep, deck 8. This deck's going to go all the way to the back of the ship. We'll get back further here in a second, but anyways, this is a Jeffries tube to the port side, and this is the starboard side one. The starboard side one will go all the way back. The turbo lift will go all the way back here, and again it routes right under this back up to here, so we'll get to that in a second as well. These are quarters. These are actually on the SD plans, but what I did is this whole section is considered quarters. It doesn't need to be, so I closed it off right there and turned this into a large head, and this one over here will be like storage. Yeah, supply locker. Kind of like what M. Heller does on the Voyager. One side's a storage locker, one side's a large head. So, take a lot of inspiration for what M does. I'll never get why that sound goes off. This will be like an EPS relay room. And then we're up to quarters again. And these are shields. So these will be shields. This will be structural integrity and inertial dampeners. I might actually move those inertial dampeners up over there on the deck, on the engineering type deck above us. I don't know yet. So these will be inertial dampeners or structural integrity, and then the inertial dampeners would be up here someplace above us. Who knows? We'll figure it out. I may even ask him to come through here and come up with some cool things, because one thing about the Voyager is M spent a lot of time making sure every one of the rooms was labeled and had a purpose. I don't have the patience for that, or the engineering depth that he has. So he spent a lot of time going over deck plans and stuff. He even gave me a nice list of things, which is real helpful when we came to building components. So, because we have a lot of components, we just have to Klingify them now. Alright, and we're going to drop down here. I think this is deck 9. As you can see, the turbo lift goes all the way back and then over and up. And again, this is another semi-rip from the SD plans, or part. Don't. This is a completely made deck. Deck 9 is a completely made up deck. As I mentioned above earlier, with the brig and stuff and the officer's armory, that was this deck originally. And you can see this deck's pretty darn big, so it was no reason to put that stuff here. So what I did is I put this stuff through here. Little rooms here. I guess these could be like whatever, holding cells, Klingon rooms, who knows. Again, this will probably be another major engineering deck. These will probably be batteries, life support systems. Same thing through here, life supports and things like that. Whatever we can figure. Main thing right now is to get the pattern in and then worry about where to put stuff, and then if we have to alter the pattern, we can alter the pattern. And as you notice, I've stuck with a straight line pattern, very few bends or rounded corners. There's a reason for that, is the Klingons are very practical. Their architecture is very straightforward. They do have art, but when it comes to their ships are extremely functional. We've seen this in the shows, we've seen this in the movies, we've seen this in games. So I decided to with the Klingons to stick with this very angular, what I would call modern naval style. There's no bends or curves. It makes it a lot easier to design, but also it creates a different type of set of problems for designing a ship like this. Because you always want to do that little angle, that little curve, and you just, you can't. You got to stick with one pattern or not. But there's room to splurge, and I will show you that here in a second. Down here on deck 10, this will be a transporter room. Now this is the deck I decided to make that reminds me of Star Trek 6, when the dudes beam onto the ship, and down below us will be transporter equipment as well. The transporter equipment can actually fit back here. I didn't realize that at the time, but it can actually fit there. But this will all be ship systems and support systems as well. But anyways, they beamed in and they walked here and kind of around the corner and then up through here, then down into the Chancellor's little room and zapped the Chancellor, and out they went. Now, the show, it shows the distance that they walked was a lot further. But given, the space limitations and, with the SD plans, the deck would be a lot larger. But I had to come up with a way to, and a space for it to drop down one level. So this is actually 4 tall instead of 3 tall. And I had to do it here. That means I had to actually split this deck from, the plans have this deck and another deck combined, and I just separated them out. So, and this will be batteries. And I had to do that in order to get this to be this way. Otherwise, I couldn't fit it in the ship the way the SD plans call for it. I'm sure I could if I really went back through and really tried hard. I could get away with it, but I'm not going to try. This, to me, made more sense to do it this route, so this is the way I went. But anyways, the VIP lounge, or VIP room here leads up into here, and as Klingon ships, they have a lot of these, ceremonial rooms and things like that, so it's kind of weird. I would think that something like this would be a specialty ship. This is a Chancellor ship, so it would be retrofitted or designed to have a big area for the Chancellor. As a ship designer myself, what I've learned over the years, this really isn't a practical design to have this and then have it mirrored over here. What I would ideally like to do, which I really, if I did, this would have to be like a part of the security section. And right now it's just a mirror from over there to here. But this would be like a security section like we see on the Voyager, where the security guys have that little elite force room, where they sit there and they look down and the instructor talks to them and all that stuff. I'm thinking that's what I'll probably do here. This will just be another security deck, which is really interesting because when the ship, if that's the case, and when this ship lost gravity and Starfleet beamed in, they were just a stone's throw away from like a security hub. Huh? I guess they knew their business. Who knows? Anyways, this is like a kitchen or an officer's mess. So this will be like the officer's galley. Klingons have live food. Just saying. So you're going to have a big galley and probably a big freezer. So this room will actually probably be connected to it. And then over here would probably just be a separate utility room or live food storage or dried food stores, whatever. We'll figure it out. Or we won't. This might be as far as I go with this build. Who knows? I'd like to do more. Oops, stay up here. And now we're down here. This I have pre-marked as transporter equipment, but again, this could actually change because the transporter will be back here, so it'll actually be out of the sight of this room. So this room could be repurposed for something else. Let's see where the X's sign there. Again, Jeffrey's tubes come down and up. And you come around here. This would be another departure from the SD plans, because this is like a science deck. And there's that sound again. We could put more science labs above us as well. But here's a science lab here. This will be Sick Bay 1. This will be life support systems, and over there will also be life support systems, because this is only too high through here. Science lab. This will be a science atmospheric lab, and this is right above the torpedo feed. So, I got to figure something through this. This will just be, dead space with support beams. Science astrology. Forget my spelling. Astrology. Again, another science lab, life support. Another lab. Probably a utility room or a small lab, general utilities. Again, doctor's office, head, and this will be Sick Bay 1. And zip back around here and drop down one more deck. Okay, this is one of those decks where I decided, because it was small, I wanted to see how I could do with the interior design. Right now I'm using invisible torches to light it. If I turn off gamma bright, you get kind of the ambiance. On other areas, if I can, I'll have the overhead lighting, like I did with the Saber, which was a really good design for the Saber. I really enjoyed working on the Saber. I need to go back through there and work with some guys and get it finished. But anyways, this will be like a little whatever rooms these decide to, whatever we make these rooms into. But you kind of get a feel for this room when you walk around it. Or excuse me, the ship when you walk around it. Kind of gives you a Klingon feel. I had originally thought about taking this this design off server as well, and then using chisel and carpenter's blocks on it to set it up. But that's not practical because those are mods, and unfortunately with mods update and things get broken. It's really hard without a updated mod pack that's fed to a something like the AT launcher, FTB launcher, or one of the TechEt launchers. It's really hard to keep things updated. So we're not going to do it. Well, it might do it, but can't do it. I mean, I could do it for myself and then just give it a provided upload and just tell people this only works with this mod pack, so download this mod pack. Anyways, it comes around to here, and again, I don't have a lot of the torches and stuff in here, so maybe drop one over here and put one there. Kind of get a little light in here. Got this green ugly stone. This has got to go. I mean, I can understand why it's this way and why I think it was the mom chose it. It's because it's green. It's got to go. I'm pretty sure I masked this hall myself, so at one point I'm sure this was all green wool or something. I don't know. Could be brown wool, could be this color right here, but this is the color they used for the bird of prey, so this is why I think it was used for the hull of this ship as well. Excuse me while I readjust my mouse there. Anyways, and then we drop down to deck 12? 12 or 13. Anyways, this is the main torpedo bay and magazine. There is an area below us here. Very small area. Where are those torches at? These are a sensor pod or weapons targeting pod, or whatever you want to call it. Get rid of that sign. So there is a space here, and I haven't really... If I'm going to use this space, it'll probably be accessed from back over there, so that's a utility space. This will be equipment down there and stuff. But there'll be a torpedo launcher right here, a big one. And again, with the plans the way they are, ideally you'd want this deck above us as well as being opened. And then this deck down here would be closed. But I decided to keep that deck where it was and open up this deck down here, because this to me made more sense for use. And then we've had those upper torpedo launchers before, so there's no big deal. The magazine will just feed up to it, or feed from the bottom to it, and it'll fire out its torpedoes, and it'll have a huge complement of torpedoes in this space. So, and again, here's the power taps for it, and all the venting and cooling stuff can be handled down below it or off to the sides, however it's decided to be routed. Again, Jeffrey's tubes are back here. Hide little hidden areas. And we'll come up here real quick. Go ahead and turn on camera bright again. And we'll zip through here. And come up. And then out here. Okay, now we're on the main deck again. Now, this is what I mean by overhead lighting. Also, you'll note that all the decks on the Klingon ship are 4-wide. I hope we can adopt the 4-wide system for our future builds, that are especially the larger ships we're going to be working on, like the Enterprise E and F and all of those. Just saying. It makes it a lot nicer when we got to do stuff like this. But, whoops. Anyways, there's a main power tap coming here, and there's also underneath of us, there's another power tap system. This is just on the sides, and this one won't have one. Because it has the lift. Oh, it will have it, but it would be like right here. So it'll have them on this side of it. And actually this right here can easily be a power tap lead as well. This is a Jeffrey's tube, so slightly different. So one of them could be power, one could be water, and one could be, God only knows what Klingons want transferred from forward to aft on the ship. Blood wine. Back here, I've only been working on the starboard side because this is such an odd shaped hull. How far over do you need to go to be a complete hull? What I decided to do, when like these big areas here, of course this is impulse engines. This will obviously come back further. I just have it open for right now. The area the crew accesses goes along this wall here. And then the rest of this is just engineering stuff. And this right here, all this right here, this gray wool, this will all be gone. This will all be open down here. So everything on this side of the magenta won't be here. And when we get down to this level here, this will stay open until right here. At which point all this wool will be gone. So it'll be kind of a layered thing. This will probably be redone. I'm just like marking it here because it's in the SD plans. I think it's part of the power feed from the impulse engines to the warp core to the warp nacelles. There's a lot of engineering stuff involved with this ship. I really need to spend some time and just study it and talk to M. Heller and stuff like that. These are pretty big impulse engines, so, but they don't have to take up this whole bay. I just equated this large bay for the use of the impulse engines. And of course deuterium tank storage and all that stuff for fuel and stuff will be handled out there on the wings. And this right here is another lead that was in the SD plans. Whoops, I can get around to it here. It comes up through here like this. And on the SD plans it comes here, then it comes along here, and then it comes back through here. It wasn't practical, so I just routed it along this way. And the reason it jumps up is obviously so when you come over here you can walk on one side of it. Excuse me, I apologize. Got a bit of a cold going on, it looks like. Anyways, here's the turbo lifts. They're just sort of outlined at this point. This was kind of difficult to lay in because, like I said, the hull is a little odd. Now I could easily run a turbo lift up through here, but the engineering deck got in the way there. Now I could shorten the engineering deck very easily. I could shorten it by 2 here, but when I looked at the SD plans, this is actually scaled to the SD plans. This warp core is all scaled to the SD plans. So even though I can shorten it, and I can easily shorten it and then stick a turbo lift here like this, I decided just to go ahead and have the turbo lift when it comes from this side of the ship here. It'll come to obviously right here and then down, and then it'll just, you know, right across there to that side of the ship, and again it'll have another branch there and then another branch here and then a center one here for this area here, and then this area up here would just be equipment, so it'll only be accessed by a Jeffries tube. Or it could just be a big open area. I haven't really decided yet what to do with it. Again, the SD plans are a little vague as far, well, they're not vague, but this, because of this hull, they're kind of, well, they don't really apply, so it could be either or. But anyways, the turbo lift will come up to this deck, and then it'll, right around the engineering deck here, it'll, one of the few places where it'll actually have a little turn. I'm going to mute this real quick while I clear my throat. And I'm back. And we'll figure something out for it. And this pattern here is actually in the SD plans, and I kind of liked it, so I was kind of see if we could fit the pattern, and it just turned out to be perfect. This, of course, is the feed to the warp nacelles, and this is, I try to keep this as close to the SD plans as well. So it comes down to there. Thought I got rid of all that. Derp, 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 derp. Okay. This is the SD plans. This, I'm not sure what this is. Or maybe this is the SD plans. I don't know. I'll have to come back through and review it. I thought I cleaned all this up, but it may have been moved back from the... yeah. This doesn't go here. Yeah, the SD plans, this doesn't go here. It's above us. So, you get to watch me take something out here and listen to me as I pound on it. As I pound sand. Actually made the joke the other day I was going to go pound a tree. Or punch a tree. And, sadly they didn't catch the reference. So, you figure kids today would catch it, but they don't. Oh well. Anywho, off of there, down through there. Again, this is close as this deck here is the main deck. It's close matched to the SD plans. Here's a transporter room. All this stuff through here is engineering related. These again, Jeffrey's tubes. Um, this over here will be almost a mirror of this, with the exception that the turbo lift will not be accessible from. Well, you know what? It might be accessible from this side, but not from this side. And then when it comes up, it'll just be accessible from this side only. I don't know yet. I might not even have a turbo lift on this side. I might just have it come over here, you know, come around here, and then go down, and then just connect here. So everything on this side is accessible, but everything on this side's not. It's going to be confusing, but we'll get it sorted out. Because there's no sense in having turbo lift on both sides. You know, I'm just saying. In this case, you know, it might work because there's an engineering area here that it accesses. So, you know. Figure it out as we go. But, yeah, it'll come back through here. And this is the main corridor, so it'll come through here. This is a big mess area right here. It is a very large mess hall. And then the ship, this whole back section of the ship, most of these decks will be for crew quarters. Same as the SD plans. I think most of the decks, all these decks down through here will all be SD plan stuff. On this side over here, it's a this whole area here is security. This is where the security crew or guards sleep and stuff, so it's like their own little barracks. And these are holding cells. And then this is a little private corridor. On this side, that section is going to be medical bay 2. Make sense? Hope so. And again, more crew quarters. A little bit narrower here through here. I might leave it like that. It's fine. I could easily come back out one more here, and same thing with this, so give it, you know, 2 through here. I might do that because this is a cargo bay, or excuse me, this is the aft torpedo launcher. Again, what I'd love to do is I'd love to drop this down by 1 deck. I might actually lower this aft torpedo by 1. It should look okay. I'm just saying it should look fine. Lowered by 1. You won't really notice it, and the reason I'm doing that is so that this part here, you know, could have a turbo lift, have a launcher that's actually attached to it. Otherwise, I have to open this area here up. So I don't know. I might actually just do that, and this will actually be a 3-chambered tall. But this is the aft torpedo launcher. It's not going to get a lot of business. I can't imagine it being that big. Then again, you know, it could be tall but very narrow. So it'll be 3 decks tall but only this wide, you know. So I might go that route too. That'll give me more room for over here as well. So in which case I'd just bring this wall into right here, and then this would be 3 wide like it is up there. So I might do that. I might actually do that. I'll have to think about it. It's one of those things I'll have to just kind of review as I go. And then, you know, of course it has to be as long as it can be, but I could actually stop it right here. And then I can bring this turbo lift down and then forward. That might work a lot better. So I'd have a forward bay there, and then I would have another one here, which goes that way. Cool. I might just do that. And again, this will be like it is down here, crew quarters and stuff like that. It'll be up through here and stuff. And up to this point right here, then I don't know what I'll do through here. Not sure yet. It's all pretty much up in the air. I'll stick to what I can with the SD plans and improvise from there. I have no idea. But it's set aside for it. So obviously, you know, we know something goes there. And here's a cargo bay, and the ship will have we've got plenty of room. I can easily add another cargo bay to this ship easily. And then we have this hangar, which is just pretty much a prelim hangar. Little shuttle parking or cargo storage. This is just temporary stuff. On this side of the wall, there's these big round things that go here. What I'll do is I'll design the round things, and then I will stair step them like this so they fit in here, kind of like what we did with the Defiant. So originally, when we designed this Defiant nacelles, I did them in a straight line like this, and then we just, you know, tweaked them by moving one section forward, you know, to match the pattern that they were going in. And then M went through, and then he shifted them forward one here and back one here, and then DeBomb and I Panic and Mad Squirrel were working on various types and ways to make them look good. And hopefully this won't be as hard, because these are not warp nacelles. These are big round things that Klingons have to have on their ships. Not sure what it is. Oops, sorry about that. A little bit of a mouse jerk there. I'm not sure exactly what it is. Again, I have to review all the engineering stuff. But since I know that they go here, I've kind of set aside the space to make sure they go there. If I'm not happy with the way this is going, I will rip all of this out of here and start all over again. You know, that's the nice thing about being able to design these things. You know, this is my first Klingon ship, and then from this will be the Negvar, which is over there, and that's a big build. When I start on that one, that's going to be completely my own design on the interior. We'll have some reference shots from TV shows here and there, but it's all going to be just a mix between the Bird of Prey design, this design, which is the D7, and any other Klingon ship designs that Cygnus might have. I've actually got some physical prints that Cygnus also has, so I can physically hold those in my hand and look too. But, yeah. Well, that's interesting. I bet that's on the other side as well. I'm going to leave the end cap here just to be on the safe side. Yep, and a little bit of a outcropping going on here. This is an artifact from when I filled the floors in. Sorry if it's a little loud. It seems loud in my headset. I'm sporting a new NVIDIA GTX 770 Superclock video card. The last was a 760. For those of you who know the system history here. It developed a bad fan bearing shortly after they sent it to me, and I ran it for as long as I could, and it turned out it wasn't a bad fan bearing. It was the ACX fin coolers weren't properly attached, so as the fan sped up, they started to rattle, and basically it sounded like a really loud cricket. It was very, very annoying. So they sent me this other one, and this other one seems to be working so far really good. I had a 570 that they sent me, which was absolutely incompatible with anything remotely to do with my system. So I was not happy with it. So I was kind of leery of the 770. But so far so good. And I also put a new 280 X in my AMD system, and I was running it. It was running really, really well. So my fingers are crossed that it's also working good. Thank you to iPanic for suggesting that card. Like I said, he's done a lot on the server. It's a lot smoother. I was on this the other day, and I was jerking and lagging through here, and now it's really smooth. He also had me update Forge and a bunch of the other programs that I use. So that also helped alleviate a lot of the unsteadiness. I still get a bit of a frame drop. Well, I'd say a 30 to 40% frame rate loss when I move over towards the Voyager, but the Voyager is just, it's got so much in it now. I mean, you got half slabs and item frames, and it's a very detailed build. For a smaller ship, it has a lot of stuff in it. So anyways, I do appreciate you taking the time to watch. This has been sort of a little rambling video as I show you the work that's going on the D7 here. Again, this is just a free time project, so don't expect it to get done. And again, I might restart it, or somebody else might restart it. There's a lot that could happen with this build. It's a completely alien design as far as what I'm used to, so it's kind of a fun thing. I did build one a long time ago, from the ground up, block by block. If you're interested in that, it's on Planet Minecraft. And I believe it's also in my world download, which is accessible again through Planet Minecraft. Anywho, thanks for watching, and have a great day.